Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are around the world. My name is Karen Griffith. I'm a inner freedom and embodiment coach. I also coach around all the good things to do with happiness, wellness and mental fitness. I also offer NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, to help with those difficult emotions, limiting decisions or stories, beliefs, and also if you've got any sort of phobias, things like that. So without further ado, I promised my audience and those that follow me on Facebook a live around self-care and the habits that you don't want to skimp on. But I also touched a bit on research because I do delve deeper into aspects of wellness and bring it front of mind to anybody that follows me so that they can start thinking along the lines of what can I do to improve my health, what can I do to improve my lifestyle, what things I need to think about or consider as I move forward towards what is wanted or goals or even aspirations and dreams, desires, things that may not have been available to you because you just didn't think it was possible. I'm here to help you change that. So, without further ado, I am going to refer to notes. I wrote a ton of notes. I've been writing notes for days and I've put off doing this live as a result, and it does get to a point where you think, I'm putting off too much, I'm not going to get it done. So today's that day. I did mention, I'm going to start off from the point of our love of drama and stress, because there's also some science behind this that you might want to consider as a means to, is there something I need to change here about how I'm operating, how I'm behaving, my patterns that might serve me better if I redirect my focus and energy somewhere more meaningful. What does that look like for me? So, I mentioned stress. This is on the post. I'll mention it here in case, because there are people that follow me here that are not necessarily on Facebook, but there is increasing evidence, research to support that it's the leading cause, this is stress, heart disease, autoimmune disease, addictions, addictions, and more. So basically, even stress itself can be a means of coping, or how it can lead to how you cope. There's things that you perhaps do that you're either aware of or not aware of. So I hope this live will give you some insight into what to look for that could be undermining your wellness from the point of view is you're avoiding something, you're not dealing with something, because we seek pleasure, avoid pain. That's really important in our humanness. So I'm giving you places for look at why we crave drama and stress. For example, if you look at media, if you look at in terms of like TikTok, some YouTube content creators, even on Facebook, and news, gossip magazines, it's that stuff I'm talking about, the drama, the chaos. And it's important to understand from a neurological point of view how we're wired, and we can be tempted to be engaged in activities like gossiping. I know I've been guilty of that in the past, and that's something I've worked on because it's not healthy for me to do so, and I recognise that as I decide to better myself and stepping more into the person I'm becoming. I can't do that if I'm engaging in certain activities like gossip that's going to move me away from what I want, what I desire. So that might be a place to look, because in gossiping, in seeking things like even retelling traumatic, triggering stories, or doom scrolling. That's another one, doom scrolling on Facebook, for because you're looking for news, you're looking for gossip, you're looking for whatever you're looking for. It heightens your arousal and it's the emotional connection, and in that it tricks the brain into a dopamine fix. Because there was a few lives I made, it was quite some time ago as I think about it, where you need to pay attention to where you're sourcing your dopamine, because there's some also research leading to its addictiveness, like Facebook, social media, because it's also operating as a validation tool depending on where you're coming from on this. And it's also endorphins, because endorphins is important to know. Again, I've mentioned in previous lives about happiness chemicals. Endorphins is another one. Endorphin is a pain reliever. So things like exercise, eating dark chocolate is very useful, but in the context of craving gossip, craving drama, chaos, it's got an addiction style to it from a chemical point of view. It's actually desensitizing, desensitizing you to your own pain and that of others. That's really useful to know. This is an opinion I'm stating here because the research I've come across, and it does make sense. It can move you away from not dealing with uncomfortable emotions, what is difficult. I've also mentioned this on the lives, and it's tying things more together for what is true and right for you. Are you spending significant times or periods of times of boredom? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling sadness? These are things that create void, and it's inside of us. And these are the things to pay attention and to check in on ourselves about how we're feeling. Because if it's right and true for you that you're starting to notice a pattern of behaviour where you're delving in too much to gossip, you're participating in the dynamics of that, and you're also participating in doom scrolling, you're attached to your phone, you're also maybe heavily weighted to triggering stories, reading things about murders and stuff. That might be an indication that you may be rewarding yourself in ways that's not actually healthy, like Desperate Housewives, if you're of Atlanta, and those kind of programs. That's what I'm moving you towards in your thinking, to see whether you could be, like I said, seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, but in doing so you're tricking. You're activating a part of the brain that's giving you some sort of reward, but it's not actually rooted in reality. So I'm going to move on, and this is one of the ways where it's scattering your energy. And when your energy is scattered and where your focus is going, your time, energy, intention, and to a degree resources, you're missing out on the opportunity to do things that are nourishing, honouring yourself. honouring the people that are important to you, moving you towards what is wanted and goals. And if you are filling your day with these distractions, and I'm going to move on to the next piece, you could be lacking in some sort of priorities or prioritisation of what's really important. And this is why working with a coach, working with me, is useful for that clarity, to really see for yourself what could be getting in the way. If you are doing things that are not good for you, you are participating in gossip, like I said. And how you're spending it, your time, energy, intention is not flowing in what is important. So that could be a clue as to why you're not getting the things you want. You're moving in the opposite direction, which could be true. So three common indicators that you could be addicted to stress, chaos. Avoiding rest and relaxation. I know that was true for me, and I've admitted it a number of times on previous lives, how I was doing busy things. I was always out because I was avoiding my difficult emotions. I wasn't ready to deal with them. I didn't have the capacity or bandwidth in respect of... that's a correction I'm going to go back. I didn't have the language for what I was feeling because I didn't know what I was feeling. I was that disconnected from who I was, who I am, who I was back then. I'm very clear, which is why certain things change. And I did a 180 in my life. Constantly checking your phone, doom scrolling is definitely an indication. If you're always scrolling, you're attached to your phone. Yeah, I get that we're set up in a way where our phone is sort of, we've gone from a house phone to phone physically always with us. I just invite you to look at how that's impacting you, impacting your mental and emotional wellness. You're too accessible to some. I know I've had to have a few conversations or remove myself in situations where I was actually finding them draining. They didn't support me, they didn't serve me, so I let those go. And I let those go with love. Those that challenged me because they thought they still needed their needs met at my expense, I shut that down. And this is where becoming ninja-like is useful. When you see what you need to see, you can't unsee it, and that's when you need to make changes. And sometimes that means removing certain individuals from your life. I have no problems in doing that now. And that's a cautionary tale, which is how serious I take this particular life, is really pay attention to where you're focusing your time, energy and attention, where you're focusing, because that is what is probably driving the wheel of your car, because we operate so unconsciously, I would say, that again I'm bringing presence or maybe some areas to think about to help you with your self-care so that you manage it better if that's true for you. If you're overwhelmed, confused, or you're stressed out, you can start letting things go and to let go of it guilt-free. So the third one is saying yes to everything. That was me. I was default yes, without realising, hang on, is this something I really want to do? Is this important to me? Am I dealing with am I prioritising somebody's comfort over my well-being? Key questions to ask. So I'm going to invite you to always be aware of how and where you're spending your physical and emotional energy, because if you don't know, this is the time to find out and start to ask those serious, deeper questions. Work with me. If you're finding it's a problem, you're feeling guilt is coming up for you, and you're involving in distractions like Netflix, could be an example. Indulgences could be eating. These are issues, symptoms to look out for. Shopping was definitely one of mine. Scrolling is again. I've admitted to scrolling a lot. I've dramatically reduced my phone usage as a result. So it's an invitation here to really change your thinking, and also to allow your mind to, and this is where open-mindedness works, allow your mind to be changed, to see things from a different perspective, so that you can open up different focus. Because when you do that, you get more possibilities and opportunities that will be magnetised, flowed to you. So I mentioned scattered energy. I've also promised mindset practices and behaviours, and also to see if this is right to true for you. I'm going to give you an example. If you have an appointment and it gets cancelled, or somebody cancels on you, or something gets rearranged and you find you've got free time, do you automatically replace it with something else? Or do you find it as an opportunity to complete a task? Ask yourself the question, should I just use that time to relax, restore, replenish myself, nurture myself, do something that's really fun that I don't have to think about, doesn't have an end goal, not outcome dependent? Just really ask yourself that. And also, do you allow somebody to automatically fill it for you? I've had that as well. Sometimes you can have a conversation with you, before you know it, you're roped into an obligation that is not something you have to be the person to do. Just ask yourself, are you prioritising somebody's comfort over your well-being? Really tap into what that looks like for you. And also environment, this is another check-in. Just check in on your environment, because there is links to clutter. This is both in the workplace and home. If you're surrounded by clutter, and this can also be in digital form, one of the exercises I do on a regular basis is I remove messages, I clear down my email, I also unsubscribe from newsletters or information, content provider, content creators, all that. I make my adjustments, and I make those with regularity, because it may not be important or serve me in the same way as it did a month ago, 3 months or a year ago. So that's the invitation. Really look at your clutter, the physical, digital, mental, emotional. Just really take a look at that and take inventory. So we're going to move on to the last stretch. So I've mentioned happiness chemicals. Happiness chemicals, I'll remind you of those if you don't already know. Endorphin, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. They all have different functions. I've mentioned about dopamine, reward centre, very critical, because we are living in an age where we're dopamine addicts. Because although it's rewards, you may not be flowing your energy, time, attention, resources in the right action. So really do take a look at how you're sourcing it. But I want to invite you to look into a self-care habit that you do not want to skimp on. And it's basically honouring your needs first. I'll mention it, but I'm going to give you that honour your needs first. Really give yourself permission to take yourself out of or away from any situation or person that's draining you. Give yourself that permission. So I'm giving it to you. Take it. It doesn't hurt. And also to start practicing no. It is okay. Remember, it is okay to say no. It's okay to prioritise yourself. The challenge is, and I know when we're doing something new, it can become challenging, and I want you to sit in that discomfort, and really start to pace yourself in how you can make changes that are meaningful. And I promise you, if you watch more of my content, maybe work with me. I can help you to overcome some of the guilt and shame that comes with starting to push back on people that have gotten used to you always saying yes, always taking, always giving you obligations where actually have to, shoulds, must, and actually you need to take yourself out of that space and create space for yourself to see what's right and meaningful for you. So those are the self-care hips, which, you know, around the saying no is the boundaries. It's what you will and will not allow. Expect pushback, it does happen, and there's tips I can give you there. If you choose to work with me, because I have mentioned it on other lives, I invite you to take a look at those. Or ask me the question, but really think about, am I prioritising other people ahead of myself? And what am I gaining from this? Because you're probably gaining something, but not necessarily what you think. So I really want you to get into the mindset of processing what's coming up for you. If something challenging is coming up for you, good. Invitation to look into that, see what that's about. It may take time. So also I would suggest throughout the day, just take a moment, a few minutes, relax, reset. What does that look like? Give yourself encouragement to keep going. Be your own cheerleader. Congratulate yourself on the job done, even if it's washing a dish. Well done. Be your cheerleader. Be supportive. Remember, internal self-talk matters. So make it powerful. Make it positive. And bring presence to your day. Really see how you're showing up in your everyday tasks and activities. Bring presence to it, because if you're distracted, if you're already thinking, I need to get this over done with, or I'd rather be doing something else, that's indicators. Just take a look at how you're showing up when you're attending to day-to-day things, because that might be an indication of things you can let go. It doesn't necessarily have to be you. Maybe you need a cleaner. For example, if you don't like cleaning or cooking, you decide to order in, if that's within your means, ordering once a week. You know, these are the things I'm inviting you to really take a perspective shift on. And ultimately, the last one is stress. If you're really stressed and your mind's racing, you're overwhelmed, you're like, rage on the page. 5-minute timer. Look at this. I've got a timer, piece of paper. I'm writing on it. I let it go. It's a mental dump. And sometimes I look at it to see what's there. I don't censor myself. It's really important. It's not about grammar. It doesn't need to look pretty. It just needs to get out of head onto paper, so you can get back into the body and breathe. You're still alive, you're still here. So really think about, if your things are coming up for you, I don't have time, I have to, what are you gaining from not prioritising yourself? So that's if what's coming up for you, I don't have time, I have to do this, I'm too busy. What is it you're avoiding? What is it that's changing for you in your space? You ask yourself that question, where it's I've got too much to do and it's not important to take 5 minutes to sit down. What is causing you to think that? What is causing you to have too much to do? Really take a close look at that. How is not taking care of yourself not important? Really ask. I know it's a negative. Really ask yourself that question. Anyway, I think I'm done, because I would like to, relax myself. I think I owe it to myself. I hope you got value. Please, if you need any more tools, practices, habits to consider, let me know. Send me a message or book a consult. There's a bio, depending when you're seeing this, or a link. Just send me a message if there's nothing there that's workable for you. or it's not working, just let me know. Send me a message that there's more you need to know before arranging a consult. Just bear in mind my time is limited. I flow it to clients more directly. They're my priority. Anybody that's interested in working with me, you get the overflow, so I won't immediately get to you. I will get to you when I can, with love. And that's about it. And I've got the community stuff going on, if that is of interest to you. So I'm done. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll catch you next week. And do let me know if there's anything you'd like me to cover that I haven't.